Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good.
So let's take a minute for this and then we can start.
All right.
All right, that's it. I was looking for the Zoom. I have so much tabs open, so I got lost a little bit. So yeah, okay, welcome back to everyone. So we're officially starting our 50-second community call in OpenGuild. And I just want to welcome back all our community members on Discord and also on X, and our followers who have been with us with every community call. Yeah, so we have here Tommy or Allison Bob on X, and we also have Tin, part of the Open Guild core contributors. And yeah, so for today, we're going to talk about the Polkadot Roadmap, which is, we're all excited about this, and we've been talking about this. Also, the Polkadot 2.0. This has been like the narrative of Open Guild that we are pushing to all our communities in Southeast Asia and also in Asia in general, right? But before that, before I bring the mic to Tin, we will go through our regular routine. So of course we're gonna um, introduce Open Guild, of course. I'm very excited because last week I was not able to present this, but this time, um, I just want to introduce the two new platforms that we just launched. And this was all developed by our developers, of course, leading team being the lead of this. But of course, for Open Guild, let me just present all. Yeah, so Open Guild is the open community driven by Web3 elevating builders on Polkadot, right? We really
Recording in progress.
thank you. Um, So yeah, Open Guild is focusing solely on Polkadot. We are giving all the resources for building and learning about blockchain, but purely on the Polkadot network and or Polkadot development. So recently, I think how many weeks ago, like maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, we launched this builders hub. So this is build.openguild.wtf. So in builders hub, let me okay, so builders hub first. Yeah, so this is super focused on launching a project or joining hackathons or contributing to ecosystem teams or starting a community or collective, right? So this is purely it, and there's a lot more inside, which I am very like highly encouraging everyone to take to explore our new hub, like builder hub. The second one is the Learn Hub. So for the Learn Hub, the purpose of this is to provide, like hands-on educational path to the Polkadot tech stack. And this is for the Web 2 devs transitioning to Web 3, or Polkadot newcomers, or students, or starting builders, we can say maybe. And there's a lot of key features here, like it covers basics to advanced topics in Polkadot SDK or Substrate. There's also ink here, or just building in Polkadot in general. So we have a lot of resources in OpenGuild. We also have, I'm not gonna show it here, but we also have this video playlist. This video playlist is quite, oops, sorry, one sec. Yeah. So for the video playlist, we also have like two playlists, one for Polkadot SDK and one for Polkadot Hub, right? So we are providing all these resources for everyone who wants to learn Polkadot. If you're new or if you're just curious, we want to OpenGuild to be their um, first platform to think of if they want to learn from the beginning to more advanced. Right. So that's what we have right now in OpenGuild, and we're very proud of this. Um, so yeah, so next up, what's gonna happen? Of course, we have a lot of on-ground initiatives in OpenGuild in Southeast Asia. So in Vietnam, we're gonna have a meetup in Hanoi. So this is more like a university workshop. In Ho Chi Minh, most of the team is from here. So we are also we're making sure that we are active in Ho Chi Minh City. It's either like workshop or just meet up in general. For Manila, yeah, this month also we're gonna have in one of the universities. Cebu is the central part of Philippines, and we have a lot of PBAX students here and PBAX alumni. So there's a lot of interests in this part of the Philippines. We also have one in Indonesia in Yogyakarta to be hosted by one of our community members. And this month, sorry, July this month, I got lost already. This month, in Kuala Lumpur, also during Malaysia Blockchain Week. So we're gonna have a small meetup here with some community leaders, university tech club leaders. Yeah, so we just want to maximize this opportunity that we will be in Kuala Lumpur and of course in Bangkok. So in Bangkok, this is like part of every other month meetup, or eventually we want to make it a monthly meetup here, but we're still trying to structure that in Bangkok. So yeah, that's for this month for Open Guild. So I'm sharing here also always the link tree of Open Guild QR code. So for anyone here who's new, who just joined our community call, feel free to scan and join our community in Discord or follow us on X. Okay, so I have 4 minutes left. Okay, so for Polkadot ecosystem updates, I want to just highlight these are the new, I think major updates that we have thanks to WAG Media. Actually, I'm part of the one of their subscribers in WAG Media for the roundup. So of course, first Polkadot, right? The Polkadot network reached a new all-time high with over 1 million active accounts. So this was last month. So of course, we are kind of like assuming that it's more than 1 million right now, and hopefully more and more in the coming months. Next, we have Peak. Peak is reaching 5 million plus on-chain addresses, plus now being supported by OKX Wallet and Safe Wallet. They actually have a lot of updates, but I just cannot include all. But I highly encourage everyone to also follow them and check their X account for all the updates that they have. It's quite promising to follow Peak. And Bifrost again. So Bifrost, we updated also the community. Bifrost last week only for like 16 million liquid staked, and now we are in 19 million liquid staked. So it's very, very good news for everyone who's sticking VDOT, and it's getting bigger and bigger. Let's see what's gonna happen next week. And of course, for hydration, hydration just reached 300 million TVL. This was actually just updated by the hydration team, I think, I don't know, like 15 hours ago. So this is very fresh and something new for all of us. So yeah, again, I'm sharing this QR code for everyone who's new here. Open Guild is here. to help you if you want to build something, if you're just a new learner, anything about Polkadot in Southeast Asia or Asia in general, please feel free to reach us out. And yeah, I have some time remaining, but I'm gonna pass the torch to Tin to welcome Tommy and Alison Bob so we can start about Polkadot Roadmap. To you, Tin.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Pat. Hi, Tommy. Yeah,
Hi, Tin. Hi,
yeah, it's
Patricia.
actually like our very first official like conversation between like me and you. I actually was instructed by you in the OpenGuild lessons in like PPA Wave 5. But I think like you don't know me that time. But yeah, like I was like one of your student. So like really happy to have you here and we can like, have like some interesting conversation about Polkadot Roadmap. Because I think like 2025 is like the key year of Polkadot and there has been a lot of things going on. You just like publish a new videos about Polkadot roadmap as well. And that's also like one of like the inspirations for today call. And to be honest, like we had before this call, like we already had like two community call last week and 2 weeks before. And then I also like talk with like a lot of developers in the ecosystem about like the Polkadot yeah, the upcoming releases of the Polkadot, like Polkadot Hub and Jam, all the things. But I think like we don't have like an official sections to, you know, like have a full view on like what is going on right now. So that's really amazing to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There is so much going on in Polkadot in the different development sectors or strands that it's quite hard to keep up. And yeah, I myself, I have to make sure every week that I follow everything that's going on. And there has been a lot of questions recently about what's going on and what is the difference between Hub and Cloud and Polkadot 2.0 and those things. And so this is why I decided to also make that video and just have a little bit of a campaign of explaining everything.
Yeah. So before, like, I already prepare a list of questions, and I hope that you don't treat this, conversation as too formal. But like, you see me as a curious learner, and I already have a lot of things that I want to learn to ask. So, but like before we go to that list of questions, do you want to like quick go through the roadmap that you already have in mind? Maybe like spend a few minutes to talk about it, and then like, we're gonna like dive deep with like some technical questions about it.
All right. Okay, we can do that. So when you think about Polkadot, and before we even go into the roadmap, there is two things to keep in mind. There is Polkadot Cloud and Polkadot Hub. And so Polkadot Cloud is everything that you know under the umbrella term of parachains and the way that Polkadot started out. So Polkadot started out by creating this technology stack where any team can come, they can take the Polkadot SDK, and they can build their chain. And what we have realized over time is that all of those chains that are here start to resemble a network of different products and services. So we have gaming chains, we have DeFi chains, we have supply chain management, we have DePIN, real world asset tokenization, oracles, compute storage. And so we see quite a lot of similarity with how Web2 clouds started developing. They offer machine learning, storage compute, media, and so on. And it's really enlightening and lovely to see that Web3 started out as a technology step, a technology that allows people to use their applications without any interference from other parties that try to censor it or overly monetize it or just interfere. And I think there's a great opportunity, for example, in social media and so on. So Web3 is a very natural development of giving people exactly the tools that they want to see. And so it's very natural also to see that there is a cloud of services developing, right? So we think about Polkadot Cloud, and then Polkadot Hub is the starting point where you can come into Polkadot, where you have your account, where you maybe you just want to trade or send stable coins to friends. Maybe you want to just like as a solo developer develop smart contracts. So it's a starting point for those people. And that is how we look at Polkadot right now. And that is a conversation you can have without going too much into the technology about what are the chains doing, system chains and everything, you can have that conversation on a let's say easier level of conversation with anyone. And then if people are keen, you can start looking a little bit deeper into what are the technologies that are driving this. But yeah, this is Polkadot Cloud and Polkadot Hub. And there is different developments in Polkadot Cloud and Polkadot Hub. And then when we look into the future, there is a lot of discussion around Jam. And Jam, in essence, is a more powerful engine that allows us to have new types of applications that have not been possible in Web3 before. Essentially, applications like you would program them if you started to learn programming today, you would not write smart contracts if you just start programming. You write a small program that just does exactly the computation you want it to do. But up until now, you could not really do that in Web3. You had to write smart contracts, or you have to write the whole chain. And then there is always the block boundary where you have to think inside the block, and you can only write a program that finishes within the half a second or 4 seconds that it takes to create that block. And then if there's the block boundary and your program runs longer than the block, it just fails. So we want to completely get rid of that limitation. One comparison you can draw is when you started building your applications in the past, you had to run your own computer at home or build a server rack, and then you have to keep it up 24/7. But maybe at your home or in your office, you don't want to run your server because what if there is a power outage or an internet outage? So we got data centers and we got cloud. And now if I want to run a program, I don't even have to set up the server. I can just rent the program. I just rent the computer in the cloud and I just deploy it there, and I don't even take care of the server setup, right? And so in a similar way, we want to give programmers and developers the ability to just write a program and not worry about what is a block, how long can I run my program, etc., etc. These are all just limitations for developers. We want to get rid of them, right? And so that is what Jam is doing. It's a more powerful engine that allows you to run any kind of program. And Jam is a research project. So we are all expecting it to come, but it is not something where you should say it's coming this year or next year. It will come step by step. So considering that, there is a lot in Polkadot that you can already use. Last year, we showed that Polkadot Kusama was able to just with 1/4 of its capacity, it could run 140,000 transactions per second. We see that Mythical is deploying games that are running fast. You see that we have Origin Trail tracking the import, like 25% of the imports to the United States. So we have very powerful technology today. And when we talk about the roadmap, it's more about how can we supercharge it further and add more capacity and capabilities.
Yeah, that's a very cool summaries of like all the key changes that are gonna happen this year and also like in the upcoming years. So from your point of view, like what is your more exciting like new innovations that you are looking for?
Yeah. So I think elastic scaling is gonna be a thing that is very practical because it allows a blockchain to just, if it wants to have 10 times the compute, it can have 10 times the compute. That was a very big reason for Mythical to come even into Polkadot. So Mythical previously was running on Ethereum, and it is just super expensive to run as a layer 2 on Ethereum. And you just have very limited data bandwidth that you can use. And so Polkadot is really built for performance. And okay, a lot of blockchain ecosystems are building for performance, but when you look at Solana, for example, the disadvantage that you have is that it's all running in one one centralized, not too centralized, but like more centralized network, right? And we see that Polkadot already has like very good data availability, so the amount of data you can use, the compute that you can use. So that's a little bit of a technical answer maybe, but it is also, I think, a very important answer. We are in the 3rd generation of blockchain technology right now. So Bitcoin was the 1st generation, and it asked, can you have something like money that cannot be overtaken by a single institution or entity? And we got an answer for that. So we have a distributed ledger. And then a 2nd generation of blockchain technology asked, can you have even a computer? Can you run any kind of program on a distributed ledger? And Ethereum answered that question and gave us smart contracts. And now in the third generation of blockchain technology, we are asking, okay, we have Ethereum as a computer, but it's a slow computer. Now, how can we scale it, right? So the Ethereum community is working on how can they scale their computer. And then you have a lot of other ecosystems that try to answer that question from a different angle. So you have Cosmos, Avalanche, and Polkadot is sort of one category where we say you build your own chain and you run your chain. And this is the way you scale. You basically distribute it out. You have Solana, which just runs very fast, and other chains, right? But in Polkadot, I think we struck a very good balance of saying, okay, you build your own chain or logic, but it is run on one supercomputer that is very secure and can just run really fast. So that's something. And then I would say, more on the practical side of things, what I really love about Polkadot is very true to the Web3 ethos, right? So we are not, yes, we have good DeFi applications, but we also have applications that are very social. So for example, we have gaming, we have entertainment, we have applications. Just today, I was talking with someone, they are building like a new kind of job marketplace for freelancers. And there's just a lot of applications that take care of the very practical aspects of life and how Web3 technology can make that better. And personally, I am in Web3 for the evolutionary and revolutionary aspects of how it can change and transform our lives and give control back to the people and can empower people to do the things that they want without like too many middlemen just profiting off from that. And I just see that there is a lot going on in the ecosystem in terms of small projects that are starting to develop.
As you talked about like elastic scaling, so because like elastic scaling gonna be on Polkadot this year, so are there any like incentive program or any like kind of campaign to encourage like existing merchant to switch to elastic scaling? And also like are there any, I mean like, it's hard to switch to elastic scaling if you want to sell to one merchant team to use Polkadot because it has elastic scaling.
So I have not built like on elastic scaling, so I cannot give you the very technical answer. I know that the teams are already preparing. So we know that the Peak team, for example, is already preparing.
Recording stopped.
Elastic scaling, and they are even testing with running on 15 cores. So switching to elastic scaling is not you must switch to elastic scaling because we think it is good. It is more like when you hit a limit for your blockchain where you say, it cannot do more, then you can start to implement elastic scaling and it will allow your blockchain to use more resources. You can compare it to you run a website and then sometimes, I don't know, maybe 1,000 or 100,000 people are going to your website and suddenly the website will crash, right? And that is similar on a blockchain. A blockchain has a certain limit of how many transactions it can process. So if you expect that there are certain peaks in the usage of your network, for example, on Mythical, you're starting a new game, you might, for the launch of the game, just add more compute so that on the first day when you launch the game, you actually have the capacity to allow tens or hundreds of thousands of players or 1 million players. Yeah. So there is a natural incentive for teams to change. And yeah, as always, everything is related to some development effort. I guess it will get easier over time. And right now we're gathering the data points. But yeah, I think there will just be a natural inclination for projects like Origin Trail, Peak, sometimes Hydration, Polkadot Hub itself to just use more than one core. And I think the big benefit is also that you can just have, for example, faster block times. So if you want to have faster block times, like 500 milliseconds or something, there might be a good reason to just consume more cores to be able to do that.
Yeah, I also like read that like the innovation gonna definitely draw more project to build on Polkadot for like scalabilities and fast performance, and we're gonna see like some interesting project, maybe like Hyperliquid on Polkadot. But as we talk about like elastic scaling, we also like need to talk about like core time. So I remember like we got an issues with the number of limited cores that a parent can buy, and then like it's already like create a bottleneck for like the parent running on Polkadot. for
Yeah.
like a temporary time. So I'm also like curious, like on the 2025 roadmap, are there any specific plan to improve that?
Yeah. Yeah, so that plays together with elastic scaling, because sort of the whole idea of Agile Core Time is you have a marketplace where you can rent the compute of Polkadot. And so Polkadot is a powerful computer, but it has some amount of compute that it can offer to the market. And previously one chain was one core, and so there was not much demand to further buy additional cores. And with elastic scaling, it essentially will give you that ability. If you have the additional resources to buy more cores or to rent more cores, you can do that. Now there is this intermittent period where Agile elastic scaling was not yet ready, and so everyone was running on the one core. And so we had this one player come in, the core time baron, and he basically used this market inefficiency to rent all the cores. I think it highlighted some weaknesses in the market mechanism, and I think right now there is a proposal on vote to update to an new market mechanism that has like improved parameters. I think it's on OpenGuild right now, and then it will also add additional cores. So Polkadot, I think after this upgrade, will scale up to 100 cores or so, and so more cores will be on the market, and then the price is so the cores are better priced now, and so I think with the next update this problem should be solved, in the sense that cores have a certain price right now, and then you will only have the people coming in scooping up cores, because the way we change the market mechanism now is that you can renew. I think basically the loyalty bonus is mostly going away. You have in the past you had the loyalty bonus, and so you were incentivized to buy the core very cheap, and then you could just pay that slow price going forward. But I think the loyalty bonus is mostly going away because it has shown that it creates an inefficient market, and instead you have the right to be the first to rent the core in the next month, and if you don't do that, then you might be able to get it cheaper or not, but you're basically playing with your luck, right? So I guess it was an inefficient market mechanism that is now getting solved. And yeah, I think that answers your question, right? Or did I miss something?
Yeah, I think it's already answered my questions. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. And as we talking about like the Polkadot Cloud, I think like it's a mistake if we don't only mention a platform to build like the element of the cloud. Like yeah, I'm talking about like the Polkadot development portal. And I think like you didn't mention about that, but I think it's also an interesting innovation that we're gonna see in this year, that like a roll up as a service is gonna become a thing on Polkadot. In that way, it's gonna create more like create more applications running on Polkadot. So what do you think about it? And are there any like, specific plan that you know for the Polkadot development portals? Yeah.
Yeah, so Polkadot development portal is the idea that if you want to run is basically a roll-up as a service model. So you develop a blockchain, you write the code for the blockchain, but you ideally want to not spend all your energy and time thinking about collators and explorers and everything. And so over time, ideally, you want to create one service where all of this is taken care of, right? And so the Polkadot development portal plays in that direction of making it easier if you develop a blockchain, that you have an easier time deploying it. I know they made some good advances recently, and I think there is more announcements coming out. So when you listen to the developers around the PDP project, they seem to be very excited. So I think they want, maybe like in the Web3 Summit next week, I think they want to show some great things that are coming out here. Maybe zooming out a bit, not everything needs to be a blockchain. I think a blockchain, or I think in the future, the word blockchain will become less of a heavy thing where you say, wow, it's a blockchain, but it's more a very practical construct that you can use, where you have like a database, or let's say a program. I think over time, chains or blockchains will become viewed more like a program that is running we will separate this out more. And the parachain is basically just a piece of logic, and you
Yeah.
deploy it, and it runs on collators. And maybe you want to have local compliance rules that you say this chain only runs in this country. Maybe that will happen. So it's more like it will become more practical. It's more like a configuration. You can compare it. In the past, it was very tough to write your own website. You had to write all the code, etc., etc. You had to program it, and now you just register on a website and you click everything together. And I think with parachains, it might go in a similar direction where all of the bootstrapping goes away, like you would expect it in a cloud, where you just write that logic for the program you want to have, and then everything else is taken care of. I know that they are progressing very good. So yeah, I think we will see some interesting news this year.
Also, I want to mention a bit about the competitive landscape, and as we also like talking about the Polkadot Cloud. So, how you like positioning Polkadot Cloud and to be more like competitive than alternative like Optimism Superchain or like Cosmos Upchain at this stage?
Yeah. So the idea of cloud implies that you as a developer can come and you can use all the features that are in the cloud.
I think like there's yeah, there's an issue with your audio. Can you say again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think like there's still an issue.
Okay, should I continue?
I mean like there's an issue with your microphone or something. So like I hear.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah.
Okay. Cloud. The idea of cloud is that as a developer, you come and you have you can just use it. You have like a list of APIs and programming interfaces and features, and you just use the features. So our focus right now is to establish that DOT can be the universal payment token with which you can consume all the services in the cloud. And that requires talking with all the parachains and showing them, hey, this is how you can enable DOT as a payment token. And there is no disadvantage for your token, because under the hood you might be able to accept DOT and then under the hood swap it for your token. So if they worry about buy pressure for the token, there can be buy pressure for the token. But basically the idea is that DOT can be a universal token with which you can consume all the services. You have one address for the whole network. And with XCM, you have the ability to talk with all the services in the ecosystem. So one big problem that you see in Ethereum right now, for example, is they are struggling very hard to find interoperability standards, because they have 50 interoperability standards and they have a hard time agreeing on what is the interoperability standard. In Polkadot, we have XCM as a very prominent standard, and it's a language that allows the blockchains and the different services to talk to each other. And even between Ethereum and Polkadot. So yesterday I was investigating a cross-chain transfer, and I saw it was going from Ethereum to Bridge Hub to the Relay chain to Asset Hub and then to Hydration, right? And all of it was one instruction written in XCM that was basically telling the token how to move. And so we are abstracting all of that away so that as a developer, you only worry about, okay, I need this token to go over here, or I want to use this feature on Robonomics to use my home automation. And ideally, you just have that one interface. Polkadot is a little bit more organic. It's not as centralized. So there's no central planning on how we come up with the different services. It's whatever people are building. But we are approaching it more from the standard side of, okay, this is a standard how you can expose your features and make them available to everyone. And the user will have one account and they just pay everything in DOT tokens, or maybe under the hood, maybe for them it's just stable coins. And then we abstract everything away, and the system just takes care of it. And it approaches more the experience that you have as a Web2 developer, where you just have your set of APIs that you look at and you work against those APIs. And I think that's the ambition. A lot of people are working towards it. And so it comes really down to the ethos of an ecosystem. If you just offer DeFi primitives, then DeFi is your thing. But Polkadot is a Web3 ecosystem where we're building technology that ideally changes the lives of people.
Okay, so I think that that's also like kind of like enough for Hub, and because like we don't have like much time, I gotta like want to talk a bit more about like Polkadot Hub. So what do you think about like Polkadot Hub? Like I think like Polkadot Hub is like a great advancement of Polkadot already, but like how's the future of Polkadot Cloud? Can it be like impacted by Polkadot Hub?
Yeah, absolutely. So Polkadot was always very strong on the enterprise side of things. So building a parachain is like building an enterprise product, because you need, let's say, 20 people to build a parachain, developers, DevOps, quality assurance, and so on. And where we historically were not so strong is giving people an easy entry point. So with Hub, we're solving the problem. We're giving you an easy entry point. And now you can ask, okay, you can build smart contracts on Polkadot now. What is the great thing? So that is the question of, okay, how do you combine this with the strengths of Polkadot? And so the strengths of Polkadot are, first of all, the existing landscape in the Polkadot cloud that can be contacted and can be used via XCM. So I think one very strong use case for Polkadot Hub is to actually write smart contracts that communicate with the other chains and that send instructions to the other chains. So, for example, you could say, I want to hold an index portfolio of different tokens, and I want to maybe engage in more complex investment strategies. And so you could have a smart contract on Hub, you send it money, and then it uses maybe Hydration, maybe Bifrost, maybe Kylix or other DeFi chains, and would use them and would contact them via XCM. So consider that Hub is smart contracts that have access to the full Polkadot cloud. I think that's one big benefit. The second interesting thing is that Polkadot is very keen on governance. So we have a lot of experience in running governance, and governance is going to be a native feature that is exposed on Hub. And that can mean that all the experience we see in other ecosystems with building DAOs, this DAO technology, it can come to Polkadot, and we can very natively integrate it with OpenGuild. And so we have a developed governance culture, we have developed governance procedures, and now we are receiving much better tooling and options. Previously, it was very hard to come up with a new collective, because basically you need not only do the collective, but also convince the Polkadot core developers to build that collective on chain. But now that we have smart contracts, you can just deploy a DAO, like some kind of smart contracts that represent a DAO, and then this DAO can start interacting with the Polkadot DAO. It can become a sub DAO, or it can become a business partner. And so I think Polkadot will be very, very interesting playground for developing DAOs. And not sure if you wanted to go into it, but it very nicely leads over to proof of personhood and individuality. So what we have to consider is that individuality and what Gavin Wood is working here with proof of personhood, it will also be a native feature on Polkadot Hub. And so individuality can mean that you prove that you are an individual, and now you can start forming communities. And these communities are free from bots, or from, let's say, duplicate actors, where you have the same person 5 times. I mean, the traditional problem with a multisig is, if you have anonymous participants of a multisig, and let's say it's a 3 of 5 multisig, what if free accounts are the same person? You don't know it, right? With proof of personhood, you can eliminate that probability. So you have a system where you can have the trust that each individual is only one real person. It's like one individual. And so suddenly you can build systems where you can eliminate some, or you can loosen some of the trust assumptions, because you know that the participants of the system conform to certain conditions. And so I think this allows us to have new experiments in terms of how do we build social systems, how do we build experimental types of economies. You could have an experiment with universal basic income, for example, or universal basic income token. And these experiments in the past had a very hard time on chain, because you didn't know what is an individual. But now when you can know that, it is also very interesting. And so I think Hub will be this playground where we can play with governance, where we can play with proof of personhood, and where we can orchestrate and communicate with all the services in the Polkadot cloud. And we can also reach out to services on Ethereum.
For Hub, I think like one of the biggest obstacle is to like how to bring like all the Ethereum's not like Ethereum but like EVM compatible toolings and services into the hub. And I remember like we're gonna have the launch party for the hub this year as like the fourth quarters, which also like have the participations of OpenGuild as well. But like I just remember like last week or something, there's a proposal about like the obstacle, the challenges of like porting Ethereum dApps into Polkadot Hub. So I also like want to hear your opinions on like the directions of Hub right now on also like how we can surpass all the challenges. Maybe they are just on the high level side, like how you can bring like services, mass services to Polkadot Hub.
Yeah, so the challenge here was to give a little bit of a background context. Polkadot Hub runs on the Polkadot virtual machine. So it's a new type of virtual machine that is optimized on a very basic level to run highly performant. And that has been in the plans, that has been in the works for Jam. It was originally envisioned for Jam, or to just generally provide a faster engine, but it's already now on Hub. And now the idea was, okay, we're bringing smart contracts, Ethereum-like smart contracts, written Solidity, to the Hub. So ideally, we want to run them on the Polkadot virtual machine, right? So now you're bringing a technology that is originally designed against the Ethereum virtual machine, and you're bringing it to the Polkadot virtual machine, right? So you have this challenge of how do you translate it? And so there has been some technology choices made about how to do the translation that now show to be like not very efficient, or that are, let's say, problematic for the standard deployment scripts. So if you are deploying in EVM environments or Ethereum-like environments, you have a certain routine of how you're deploying applications. And I think what they now see in the rollout is, okay, they made some design choices that are now not matching up exactly. And so that puts them in front of the challenge of, do we want to solve this with tooling? Because over time you can solve every problem with tooling. Or do we want to be faster and maybe choose a route where we are having some kind of EVM-like interface? So I think they're confronted with the situation right now, and they're sort of trying to sort this out. And the decision that they made is that they want to be faster and enable Ethereum developers to come to Polkadot faster. So they're sort of choosing the split strategy where they want to support both development paths initially. I would say we have to give them time. Typically, it's not a good idea to rush things. We have certain strengths in Polkadot that we're currently using, mostly on the cloud side. So the hub takes a little bit more time to figure out. And yeah, it's not perfect, but it's also like not a big bummer, because I think eventually we will play, like it will really add to the portfolio of what you can see in Polkadot. You mentioned the Polkadot launch party. So it's the original idea is actually to have a Polkadot 2.0 launch party, right? So ideally, we would have combined it with the hub launch because it was sort of announced for September, and there will be major milestones being released on the hub. So the hub is multiple development strands at the same time. So we will see some good rollouts on the hub, at least for staking and governance. But what is the Polkadot 2.0 launch party? The idea is a lot has changed in the last 4 years in Polkadot. And some people joined the Polkadot community 4 years ago, and then maybe they got excited about other things, so they stopped paying attention to Polkadot. But so much has changed in Polkadot. Parachains got much more efficient, development got much more efficient. We now see very interesting use cases from different projects that are actually thriving, not just surviving, but thriving. User experience got better. We got some very interesting new SDKs that allow you to build against Polkadot, like Puppy, Ink, Pop, Apilon. So many new SDKs. And so a lot of stuff has happened, but some people weren't paying attention, and they still live in the world where they see the original Polkadot 1.0. So the idea is also, hey, let's make a celebration and bring people together and let everyone celebrate, first of all, what happened in Polkadot, but also everyone who didn't pay attention gets an opportunity to see what's going on. So the plan is to have a 1 month long celebration, a Polkadot 2.0 launch party, once Elastic Scaling hits the shelves, so to say. And it will be one big global online hackathon with a few different tracks organized by the Web3 Foundation. So they currently today there was a proposal published on the forum that's currently in discussion at the Web3 Foundation. We know that Parity is already having internal discussions of how to support the whole thing. We have the support from the Events Bounty and the Polkadot Roots Initiative. The meetups bounty. Anyways, the Roots Initiative. So basically the initiative that organizes local meetups. So we will have physical meetups, and because it's a 1 month long campaign, everyone can participate. If you have 2 friends in your city or in your region and you want to meet them, it's a great reason to meet and to talk about everything that's going on in Polkadot and update your friends. If you're already experienced in organizing events in your region, you can think about making something bigger. And the idea is we all have it globally at the same time. You can host like 1 event within that month. You can maybe host 2 or 3 if you want. If people in your region are participating in the hackathon, you can come together and you can hack together, or you can show to your friends what you're building or to other community members what you're building. And the hackathon is not constrained to just Elastic Scaling, for example. It can be anything that is in Polkadot. There's so many things in Polkadot to try out. Tap into parachains, use XCM, use an SDK, maybe build an off-chain application. There's so much to do that the invitation is really for anyone to just try something new in Polkadot, meet friends locally, or just participate in the online campaign. And so we're not tying ourselves to like one or the other feature. It's more like celebrating everything that has been going on in Polkadot. And we have a certain timeline in mind. It's like gonna be like in 2-3 months roughly, and so we will publish more updates on that also.
Really excited about that, and maybe like that time we can have another community call to talk about a launch party. Yeah, really excited. Okay. All right. Okay, I think like another questions that I would love to ask, but I think it's more about like a better question to fit more with the DevRel. But like with everything that's going on right now, Polkadot Hub, Polkadot Cloud, a lot of features, and we also like mentions in the Polkadot launch party that there's a lot of things that's going on. So what is like the most efficient way right now from your perspective to onboard like new developers and adapt to these changes?
Yeah. So there has been a very big effort going on to improve the developer experience in Polkadot, and that starts already at the community level. So right now it has become much easier to find one spot in a community where you can work as a developer. You can, for example, just get started in the Polkadot Discord. And we will also look during the Polkadot launch party how to facilitate that so that you can really just have one spot where you can go and you can ask all your questions. But the idea is, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? If you want to just use the existing features, and you maybe want to have a Web2 developer experience, you might want to look into something like Apelon. If you are more keen on talking with a parachain directly, you might want to go the puppy route. If you want to build a smart contract, we can show you what you can get done right now in Kusama. Smart contracts are already in Kusama, so this is where you can go. Or if you want to build a chain, you would touch the Polkadot SDK. So the important insight is not every developer is the same, and developers want to achieve different things. Where we also made a great progress in terms of developer experience is if you go to polkadot.com right now and you go to the developer section, it asks you what you want to do. So based on your intention, what you want to do, you can go to the website and you see different paths of where you can go. Do you want to build smart contracts? Do you want to build a chain, or do you just want to use the existing stuff? I think there's always work to do, but it's really great to see that this is a topic that has been touched on. that has been discussed for 2 years and where we made good progress this year. So I think the best place is to get started, maybe polkadot.com, and go to the developer section and join the Polkadot Discord also.
We already like changes and related to the question that I just asked. So what like type of application that you are excited to see in the next wave of like new developers coming to Polkadot? I like what what can they build with like all these new technology?
Yeah. So what I'm really hoping to see is new kinds of social applications or applications for the creator community. I think, and again, I appreciate a lot the DeFi applications that we have. For example, I love hydration. I think Web3 is very much about giving power to people, and that can be, for example, the creator community. So, for example, let's say you're a creator and you want to have a Patreon-like system where you have members and they want to support you. They want to give you a little bit of money every month because they like what you do and they really want to support it. I think building systems for them would be good. I think freedom-preserving applications like a chat or email or something that cannot be censored would be really fantastic. Having applications that have some kind of social component and live on-chain would be really great. So having social media, I was a big fan of Subsocial. I think maybe the go-to-market strategy was not ideal, but having something like Subsocial where the social platform lives on-chain, but it's not locking you in, it's not forcing you to choose a specific client. You know, when I use Twitter, I basically have to use the Twitter client. When I use Reddit, I basically have to use the Reddit client. But if we have platforms where everyone can communicate and participate, but everyone can choose their clients and their algorithms, Frequency right now is a good bet with Blue Sky. If we have those kinds of applications, it would finally fulfill the promise that we're getting with Web3, which is applications that set us free and that empower us and that keep us in the control and the ownership of what we create. So these are the things that I still want to see, because I think it's been 15 years since Bitcoin was invented, and it's like more than 10 years that Ethereum is running, and we're still not seeing, to the extent that I want to see, the applications that actually Web3 was invented for.
Excited. And yeah, I think I'm also like quite excited with like all those new ideas, and hope like there's someone gonna like listen to this, like community call, and then they're gonna like try to build it on Polkadot. As we like come close to the end of the community call, are there any like advices, any like tips that you want to give to the Polkadot community and also like new people coming to Polkadot community?
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do. If you're interested, if you find Polkadot by itself interesting, or the vibes, first of all, reach out to people, connect with people. We see a lot of yappers right now that basically just paraphrase what they see and they don't really add to the conversation, they just replicate it. So don't be like that. Just have genuine conversations with people, reach out to them, talk about the stuff that interests you, ask questions. And it depends, but I think just there is so much interesting stuff if you just like follow a rabbit hole of something that interests you and share your thoughts or share your learnings or just tell what is not working or what you're upset about. If you just like fall into the rabbit hole of getting really interested in one thing and talking about it and sharing this experience with others, I think it's a very good way to how we can educate each other. And over time, you build a base of knowledge, of understanding, and you just keep growing in your understanding. It's now, I'm full-time in crypto now 4 years, and I'm constantly learning new stuff and uncovering new layers and understanding how everything works. And it has grown my appreciation for not just technology, but also the world. I'm very happy to be able to travel to different places in the world and meet people. And it's really great to see that the vision of Web3 is to empowering people, and it's also to be able to meet people across the planet and be able to connect to each other and share in this great journey. So I don't know, fall in love with something that interests you and just keep pursuing that. And it is a great journey. And if you learn stuff on the way that will help you in some way in the future.
Yeah, Polkadot is amazing. Like like with Polkadot, like I have a chance to talk with you just through a screen, and then we talk about like same topic, like we have like same approaches to the future of the Polkadot, and like everything is going out like all community all at once. Yeah, so and I think that's also a great wrap up for today's community call as well. There has been a lot of information. We're gonna definitely have a recap on our OpenGuild website to let's summarize like our conversation today. And I think like I hope that like all the audiences already like learn great things from Tommi. And yeah, let's talk together after the launch party. All right, and I think that's also a wrap up for today call. And thank you a lot, Tommi. And yeah, I'll see you in like the upcoming community call.
All right, thank you. See you at the launch party.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, see you guys. Yeah, have a good day.